I found your note in the rain, folded up in my coat. Old night, new skin, still caught in my throat. Your voice comes back in the glass, soft as a station lost. I traced it with my thumb, like it might pay the cost. Spin me back, spin me slow. Hold that frame, let it glow. One more sign, one more spark. Pull me through from the dark. Broadcast from the past. Come back fast, come back fast. Broadcast from the past. Say my name, make it last. Broadcast from the past. I still feel that way. Broadcast from the past. Take me where we stay. The first I know is your steps in the scene by the door. I hear you laughing, the noise like you lived there before. Silver on your sleeve flickers under the blue. Every broken little piece turns and points me to you. Spin me back, spin me slow. Hold that frame, let it glow. One more sign, one more spark. Pull me through from the dark. Broadcast from the past. Come back fast, come back fast. Broadcast from the past. Say my name, make it last. Broadcast from the past. I still feel that way. Broadcast from the past. Take me where we stay. Keep it in the air, keep it half known. Let the signal bend, let it drift home. Your shadow on the glass and it slips away, but I know your shade by the end of the way. Broadcast from the past. Come back fast, come back fast. Broadcast from the past. Say my name, make it last. Broadcast from the past. I still feel that way. Broadcast from the past. Take me where we stay. Broadcast from the past. Come back fast, come back fast. Broadcast from the past. I still feel that way.
Tonight, the top drivers in Cyber Thunder look to try and duke it out in the Irish Hills of Michigan as its Rush Championship Series presented by AIG makes its way to Michigan International Speedway for tonight's coverage of the Motor City Madness 180. And it's all here on Precision Entertainment. Welcome to tonight's coverage. I'm Justin Prince alongside me once again for this evening's coverage is our producer Ryan Bauer. He's using cameras provided by Whiplash Sim Cams once again here this evening. We're getting ready to count down to green and get ourselves to the start of tonight's action. Let's talk about the schedule first things first. As first things on the marker, you have about 6 races to go in the regular season. Michigan going to be the last of the racetracks that are a bit bigger per se, outside of maybe Indianapolis on the schedule oval-wise. You have 1 short track, 1 road course, a super speedway, and 1.5 miles in the mix also before we go to Daytona Road and Darlington after an off week for the battle with the postseason to end off the month of June. But we have to get there first, and it requires these drivers amongst your top 12 so far to sort themselves out. Greg Mitchell currently has a more than 100-point lead in the championship. Andrew Caldwell, Matthew Semple, though, keeping it close in their battle for second, with Rick Thompson also in the mix. Keep in mind, Cody Gibson last week didn't get too much of the gap chipped away per se in the point standings after last week's success, but did get himself a little bit closer to maybe get away from Brad Holmes and company. Holmes still keeps the pressure high, though, entering tonight. However, remember the final 2 spots in the postseason are wild cards involving the drivers about 13th through 20th in the wild card that will set up their stage points sorted. Jason Raymond and Gerard Anderson are the drivers that are the highest up at stage points. They've been staying comfortable in that. Andrew Popejoy, he needs to pick up some stage points, and he needs to start picking them up now if he wants any shot to be able to jump away and get a chance at Anderson at the minimum to be amongst that cutoff. We're in Michigan International Speedway here tonight. This racetrack's been around since the 1960s. Keep in mind, just 18 degrees of banking in the corners. But with these cars, it does feel like a super speedway with the draft pole. This track also interesting enough in terms of some of the early layouts, especially in some of the iRacing iterations, does have a road course configuration that is not really used these days. It was designed by Sterling Moss, 3 different layouts for when they do have people try it at the very least here at MIS. But a lot to think about coming into tonight. That includes setting partner when it comes to this series, AIG. Box now, fuel, tires, and trash talking included. AI Chief Racing is your virtual crew chief, making pit calls, strategy plans, and roast you all the way to the checkered flag. Visit AIChiefRacing.com for more. Drivers are getting ready for the starting grid tonight. Let's see how they'll begin this evening. It's Eric Anderson on the pole, Dustin Payne will start next to him on the front row, 55/1000 separating the 2 of them. Then it's Frank DiMaggio alongside Brad Holmes. Solid qualifying effort for the 00 tonight. Then the 5 starts where his car number is. Gerard Anderson will be there alongside Phil Van Fleet, who's within about a 10th and a half to qualify. Greg Mitchell and Corey Sherman start amongst the top 8 tonight, with the top 10 looking like this. Andrew Caldwell, Mike Stiverson round out the top spots. 2/10 nearly the difference. Matthew Semple's going to have to work hard immediately to pick up some spots, though, alongside Andrew Popejoy. Gary Bowman will start alongside Larry Bell. Further back, you'll find Chris Rose this evening, with Nathan Dufton down at 16th spot tonight. Go all the way back to about row 9, you'll find Lee Campbell back there again. Dakota Wilkins will start in 18th, 3/10 off the pole. Paxton Frith and Crank Bell, about half a second off, round of the top 20 this evening. Also in the field tonight, James Rosell, we haven't seen too much of so far, the 44, alongside Nicholas Popejoy. David Gainford will start 23rd with Logan Spencer, and 24th tonight. Jackie Brent's down the order. Rick Thompson didn't get a great qualifying effort put in. He'll start 26th. James Afal starts alongside Brandon Thompson in the queue. Those drivers up to a second off the pole. And a newcomer when it comes to tonight as well, Justin Mason will start at the back. Drivers who did take time to include Carter Lawson, Brian Dorsey, James Kinder, David Music, Casey Tomlinson. You see your track conditions on screen, by the way. It starts off at 94 degrees Fahrenheit tonight for track temp, but we are starting off essentially when would ARCA begin, because the ARCA Menard Series usually starts late afternoon for those following real-life competition, where 94 track temp should get cooler a little bit. The stage lengths look like this, though: 20, 25, and then 55 here tonight. These drivers will have 70% fuel as well, with 5 tire sets available down the pit lane for them. Remember, no fast repairs, 100 laps, 200 total miles. From Motor City Madness, 180 tonight. On that note, just about all set to go. We're happy to have you with us once again for tonight's coverage. We begin the racing action here from Michigan. Rush Championship Series competition brought to you by AIG. Ready to rumble as the green flag waits down the air end and straight away. Anderson chose the outside for the initial start. Green flag is out. We're underway from MIS. Look how slippery, slidey some of these drivers are on cold tires. Payne trying to work to the outside for second. Does get there. And it's 3-4 wide down the front stretch. Anderson amongst those cutting their way on through on the charge. Got a good run up the middle. But as you can tell, a lot of these drivers searching for clean air. It's a little flatter underneath that first seam also. That's why Holmes is now struggling off the corner. See everybody else making their way down the back straightaway to sort things out early. It's going to be very interesting to find out how some of these packs may break apart. Remember, normally, when you can make a full stage, these drivers are going to be tightly bound together with some of the draft, pulling them together, especially in some of these battle packs. The outside going to be all prevalent for passes out of 2. See everyone working their way down the back straight away already. Some of the drivers getting into a quick spot like Andrew Pojoy up 3. Semple losing a little bit of ground here so far. See him in the cave trying to get to work. A little bit of check up in front. Caldwell didn't get the best of exits there. Stuyvesant taking the run to the inside. Also coming through, Matthew Semple. Semple trying to take his time to make this pass work, and we know these drivers, long run, if you want to contend in the main group, you better figure out a way to make sure you don't burn up your Goodyear Eagles here tonight. That's always the trend at a lot of the tracks, but very much carries over here. Because if you can't get corner exits, you can't carry the momentum to keep up with the draft. Sherman slippery and sliding right now on the outside, slipping up from the 9th spot. Potentially lose a spot to Semple as a result of that slip. Stuyvesant already getting his way on through also. Here's Bowman. So far has had some decent runs as of late. Right now this 8 machine just deciding to run the middle. Look at him trying to just get a different angle than everyone else. Rick Thompson, no surprise by the way, biggest mover already, is up to 17. Caution flag is out. First yellow flag of the evening. And it's a driver on the back straight away. Roswell is a bar to those involved, but also Nicholas Popejoy, who got into the side of Crank Bell. And all of that puts us under the caution after a whirl round for the 17. So a wild moment with the 44 getting loose, just clipped the very edge you see there of the 17. Here's the problem for Nicholas Popejoy, rather. Broken wheel. That's after Bell also missed the bottom, but it doesn't matter. The 44 was way low. That hit right there on the side of some of these cars destroyed the suspension. A few others did pop into the incident, it looked like there. That was Paxton Frith who took a hit. See right here, Jackie Brennan trying to get through. But a tough break for one of the Popejoys here tonight. Trying to ride the line, already knows there's issues. Gives space even. Doesn't matter, still gets ping-ponged and clipped. That puts us under the caution for the first time here tonight. Frith, likely one of the meatball flags. Bell might just have rear end damage, if that. Jackie Brennan also peeling on down for a pit stop. Everybody else, for the most part, is staying out of the racetrack. Carter Lawson coming in for a top off. Fuel should be an issue for stage 1. Going to be a little tighter, of course, for stage 2. But you see with your cameras, everyone's remaining calm and ever present as we prepare things out here today. So right now the main thing is going to be quite simply for the field. Can they make sure to get the track position they need? No claims coming in for the incident over the radio, by the way, yet. And Eric Anderson is indicated to stay to the inside this time after trying the outside. Initial start of the race, Paxton Frith is officially done for the night. Your first DNF. Working with Holmes, Semple, and Spencer tonight. So if you're watching along with tonight's coverage, do you have a pick for this evening? Why not say hi and give that pick here tonight? Again, we're following along here with tonight's coverage. We hope you're enjoying the racing action here this evening, here with the Rush Championship Series from Michigan. Lap 5 officially has gone unclaimed, by the way, as we'll get ready to go. So as we get set for the restart, it's going to be Anderson, it's going to be Payne, Anderson, Van Vliet, Holmes, DiMaggio, Andrew Popejoy, Mitchell, Stuyvesant, Semple, all in your top 10. Now, the interesting part of all this is, again, how wild do we get here off the jump? So Anderson going to have to keep this as smooth as possible for the inside line. Make sure there's no issues to clear on by from the line quickly. The first pick's coming on in. Tom Richter, first of all, why not in the car tonight, is picking Van Vliet to try and get a first win here tonight. That's the driver up in fourth. I believe Richter may be out of town, but he gets a good view for the restart. Take a listen in as we get back to the gears here at Michigan. Good start, near contact though, coming into 3. That's because the Sauber Speedway machine of Holmes going to make contact. Anderson gets dropped back. Van Vliet still not able to get the clearance he's looking for to try and take over to third. 3 wide still, and look who's also joining in, Andrew Popejoy, who needs stage points. He's trying to pick off these spots as they continue to fight very hard for third. Anderson got to squeeze up, might be able to clear to the 89, no. Now Popejoy's boxed in, your points leader, Greg Mitchell, who, by the way, for the first time in a while was not your pole sitter on the front row. is immediately trying to charge that outside of the racetrack. Remember, Mitchell, last time out, had a dominant car, then picked up a penalty, couldn't get up to the front to challenge for the win. Tonight, his opponent isn't here. Dustin Payne is keeping the pressure high for the race lead, though. Pushing a little bit of the Goodyear Eagles to go for the charge as he keeps the pressure high on the 43. Remember, Eric Anderson, he's the last driver in on points at the moment coming into tonight, only a 6-point advantage over Popejoy. Needs to do well. Look at the Hornets' nest for Thompson for comparison's sake. See him having to really be careful in these wheel movements. Has Dufton to pick up, draft up, has Stuyvesant to the inside. But gonna just take some time as, for whatever reason, his entire right screen is blocked off too by his Discord. So, then again, he's got VR, so he doesn't have to really think about that. If he was out of the sim, would be a bit of concern. Because you can see him having to use that VR to make sure he gets clearances like that one to the outside. Look at that on the outside. Mitchell may have just stuffed in the wall. Indeed, got way high, avoided contact with the fence, but now is forcing it 3 wide with Caldwell. Thompson, near 4 wide. That's because of a shuffle with Simple. Gonna have to be careful here. Mitchell trying to get the good run off the exit. Caldwell trying to clear himself off the corner wheel. Thompson nearly hits Simple for good measure. Nearly hits DiMaggio peeling down. Out while Simple passes them both. Top 2 have all checked out. Everybody else in a cluster. About midway through the stage, tonight's designation lap for the opening stage, lap 20. Any flag after that point could potentially end the stage early and make a potential fuel mileage stage 2. We're crashing with Dufton. Dufton is around. He slides to the inside. DiMaggio also involved. No caution. We stay green as the 47 still in the grass. Take a look at this, and remember, Dufton was just amongst those battling to the 3 wide. It didn't look like it was going to be in a spot you expect, though. Sometimes you need to figure out, are you going to be clear or not? In this case, look at the run. Oh, there was contact there with DiMaggio getting into Stuyvesant. Got tangled together as they went up the straightaway. Look at the different lines for the 20 and the 24. See, DiMaggio is already thinking going up the track. Thinks he's clear. The thing is, Stuyvesant's still on the 47 fender. That causes the overlap that sends Dufton, as a result, hard into the grass, but avoiding all the walls. So Dufton will get some chances. All while the race lead is swapped as we looked away with that. Guess who's up front? It's Dustin Payne, who's got it himself forward. As that's with the run, with Anderson getting loose last time by at the stripe. So Payne now leads, and he's pulling away. Anderson's fallen off all of a sudden by 4/10 last time by. 43 has chewed up his Goodyear Eagles and fast. And Anderson's closing up nearly to the wall for the 43. So it's going to be a bit of a trouble spot now for Anderson. You can see he's really having a hard time there. Caldwell for his measure in the pack. Starting to see the pack start to splinter. Mitchell slid up in a Simple. A little bit of dangerous battling again. Apologies on the radio from both drivers as Andrew Popejoy will pass the ball for at least trying to. So Popejoy's in a great spot to pick up stage points he needs so much. He's passed by just about all he can here because everyone else is splintered. The top 10 have ran away from everybody else, though. That distance, nobody more than a second. See the stage details for those who want to keep track. See 20 initial indication for tonight. Again, stage was 2015 was designation, to correct myself from earlier. With the 20 lap mark, these drivers only have a couple laps to do something, anything, to get the job done here. Our stage designation for the second stage for reference for later on's conversation. Lap 40, by the way. Any flag from this point will end it off here. So, that in mind, there's the flag, but it's not going to be at 20. It's going to be before that mark. It's David Gainforth who brings us under yellow. That ends stage 1 early. Casey Tomlinson was on his fender. The 7 was to the inside. Remember, some of these drivers will blend up together on exits. See, Gainforth was already trying to go a little lower. Up comes the 7, and around they tangle. Because that whole back straightaway is pavement, that's considered a caution trigger. That puts us under the yellow flag. We'll see this again. So a little bit of a clarification for some of the drivers in terms of designation. They are both considering themselves involved. All from a blend up. One maybe low, one side by side. And as a result, Dustin Payton will take away stage number 1. It's Anderson next. Both the Andersons, if you will. Holmes and Van Vliet, Andrew Popejoy, Thompson, Mitchell, Semple, Caldwell. Your top 10 as stage 1 is complete early. See what pit stops have in store for our competitors here tonight. Should see 4 tires around for just about everybody. Might see people gamble later on strategy on tires because the tire wear fall off sometimes isn't as bad, but remember, we've already burned 8/10, so it is a massive risk. See all our driver cams as they work their way into pit road now for the sequence. Getting busy to set up for some stops. As you see Anderson amongst those who are up on the Jackson quickly. 4 tires already being complete for Rick Thompson. Should see that for just about everybody based on what we're already seeing in the next minutes or so. As you can tell, Dustin Payton getting a good stop, getting a good race on pit road despite 3/10 slower off the lane. Anderson, Holmes, Van Vliet, Rick Thompson, now your top 5. Mitchell, Semple, Bowman, Lee Campbell, and Andrew Popejoy on the top 10 for the Motor City Madness 180. We continue on here on Precision Entertainment under yellow to get ready to start stage 2.
You are watching Precision Entertainment. Let's take a quick break from the action of the Cyber Thunder Rush Championship Series, presented by me, AI Chief. Now, driver, while the field gets sorted out and someone out there is still trying to find reverse, let me ask you a question. Have you ever been in the middle of a race and thought, man, I really wish someone in my headset would tell me what the hell is going on? Maybe you're running out of fuel. Maybe the leader is about to lap you. Maybe you just wrecked half the field and you're pretending it wasn't your fault. Well, driver, that's where I come in. AI Chief, your personal crew chief, race strategist, motivator, and occasionally the only voice of reason between you and the outside wall. With AI Chief, you get live race strategy, fuel and pit calls, real-time race updates, savage coaching when you start doing something dumb, and trust me, based on what I've seen out there tonight, some of you really need the help. AI Chief doesn't just tell you when to pit, he tells you when to save fuel, when to push, and when to maybe, just maybe, stop trying to go 3 wide into turn 1. So if you're tired of racing blind and you'd like a crew chief that actually knows what he's doing, head over to AIChiefRacing.com and let Chief get you sorted out. Because the only thing worse than wrecking is wrecking without knowing why. AI Chief, I've got your back. Now let's get back to the action.
Welcome back for tonight's coverage of Cyber Thunder. As we continue on with the Rush Championship Series from Michigan. I'm Justin Prince, our producer this evening. Again, Ryan Bauer using cameras provided by Whiplash SimCams. We're just about set for stage number 2. Remember, this stage is going to be a little bit longer because of the time of the caution flag. Well, technically, it's going to be right on the money for 24 laps, but it's a couple laps earlier for when the drivers were expecting for when they need to make the pit stops. Designation, lap 40. Your temperatures on the track staying pretty stable at 93 at the moment. Air temp's not expected to drop for an hour in sim. Take a listen in. We're back on our way from Michigan. See some of the battling going on as Rick Thompson amongst those trying to take advantage of spots. Some drivers might be dealing with tech issues up there, but Mitchell, he's been having some challenges to make passes. You see him trying to get around Semple, instead having to push him. Some of these drivers having to get a little bit dicey and slicey, if you will. Try and get some of these starts and passes in turn done. Thompson has built a buffer because some of the battles are behind. But here's the question, does he have the long run pace to pull away from the others? Seems like Dustin Payton might have a car to beat though at the front of the field, we'll say, because his speed off the get-go is a tenth quicker than everybody else on the racetrack. In the cube we go, by the way. Here's Brandon Thompson. See Mike Stoverson amongst those having repairs done with the incident's last caution flag. Second to last, rather. But that 11 machine doing okay, we'll say. Just trying to keep the car clean. Think about the battles later in his situation coming in mid-season. See right now Bowman for good measure on your screen. Bowman keeping things calm and patient. Again, he's preferred that happy medium in the middle. Feeds 30 air on the corner exits for Poke Joint Company. But right now, some of these drivers starting to get the snake out, you see, because at the moment, some of these other drivers starting to pack a little bit more, per se, for third at least. Thompson slides the tires. Let's listen in. Just see him just pushing hard on these Goodyear Eagles, just trying to figure out the way to go. Again, Michigan shouldn't turn all too much here in theory on the wheel angle. Should be able to keep things pretty steady as a result. But if you're putting a lot of wheel at Michigan, you have a problem. Or you have a very different steering offset. Remember, that's still the same with this car. The olden style, if you will. Now, the Gen 6 Cup car, for example. Take a look back at some of the others, though. Ron Anderson has fallen to 12th after being amongst those in the top 5 previously. Fell down the order after he wasted about 4 seconds in the pit lane. Might have missed his pit stall, if you will, as a result. So he's forced to try and work with some of the others had good stops. Take, for example, Campbell, one had the quickest in the pit lane, is just in front of him in the 60 camp. All of a sudden, though, Philip Van Vliet is on the struggle bus. The lone Dutchman is struggling to get that car to get good speed in corner. He was looking very good to start off stage 1, stayed up at the front throughout said stage, but stage 2 has been a different story so far. a lot more difficult for him. Let's compare this to, say, Larry Bell, who is back in the field. Some of the drivers like Dufton have already gone for slides here today. Bell kind of stuck in a traffic jam. Inside line's not going to make the moves work. Outside, you have to be up there, but the problem is there's cars up there. There's only so much you can really say or do for them. We've had a change for second, by the way. Brad Holmes just made the pass. Eric Anderson has fallen into the clutches of Rick Thompson as well, amongst those in the lead pack at the moment. Let's see that right here. You see the 43 is nearly spinning it. Anderson having a slide. Eric Anderson drops again. Rick Thompson, your biggest mover of the race, doing a phenomenal long mid-run pace right now. He's in the 40 flats. Compare that to Eric Anderson, 40.3s. His average pace, mind you, is 0.3 off everybody else. That car is not doing well in exits. For Matt Semple, he's been busy battling here. You see with the 55. Mitchell's been staying around with him, getting pushed around, getting bumped. Now with side by side again. All Mitchell can do is just ride and be patient. This has been chaotic. The more they fight like this, the more time they'll lose. Anderson, by the way, hearing he's amongst those who scraped the wall, as you've seen in some of the battles, he is really struggling. He just scraped the wall again. I think it was a little bit with some aero difference, though. That 43 does not turn. This point for the Petty Blue Machine. Cautions may be the best friend for him, because right now, it's absolutely not his friend. See some of the errors though. Lawson always a contender for biggest mover because he doesn't qualify. 15 spots gained. 3 wide. You see Campbell trying to stick it high side. DiMaggio on a recovery from some of the contact earlier. Bounced around in Kentucky especially. But nothing doing for the making the move. A bit of a squeeze. Get out of it close. Has to back out. Kind of Wilkins. We haven't talked about Wilkins since the grid, by the way. About where he started this race. You see him on the picture. He's a part of this traffic conga line that's formed up here behind Campbell and Company. Look at the checkups. That's the thing some of these drivers are going to have to be heads up on, is some of the lifts, some of the break points, if you will. Going to potentially overlap. There's near scatteringness because Rose had contact nearly. Second, pressure is on. Holmes trying to hold on to it. Thompson trying to keep up. Payne is starting to fall back into the clutches of the leaders as well. So here comes Thompson trying to get the run built up for the outside. Will he try and get to the outside of the 0-0 for 2? Not yet. See just how much Thompson's having to put the wheel in. Try and find clean air. Holmes is really burning up the rears. Just slid 3 different lanes on top of the rears. And you can tell he's got technical issues. That's going to be a huge problem. That nearly spooked Thompson, who went to the low side just in case. Still nothing doing to make the passes. Holmes is in the wall. Holmes into Thompson. They lean, but it's Thompson clear. Rick Thompson is second. Look who's driven up to third as well. Semple's cleared also. Greg Mitchell still rides in 5th. See how dicey it's starting to get here with some of the drivers compressing. Semple. Will he have the pace to try to immediately attack the 76 who had to fight for a few laps there? See Semple at least trying to get some clean air on the nose. Trying to get away from it. Knows that Thompson's getting a little bit weeble-wobbly. But remember, the outside going to be good to defend from. You see that with the side-by-side. Semple trying to make their way on through. Will he clear? Not quite. As there it is, the cut in front. Coming up towards the designation lap and a couple more times, around 3 precisely, this time by the flag stand. Seen some smoke kicked up as part of the racetrack, by the way. Back of the field, for the most part, staying stable. But the race lead about to get busy. Mitchell with all his work. He's about to try to attack for this spot also. Holmes' tires are gone also. Here we go for the lead. Semple over the rear end of Payne. Payne going to try and hold up high. No, he instead has to back up. Semple sends it on through for the race lead. Semple up 10, but Thompson is next to attack him. Thompson looking to go up plus 24 also. See right now how hard Thompson wants it. He charged that corner into the apex. Can he keep it there? Yes. Maybe. Yes, he does get it. The Speed Mafia machine zips to the outside. Now gets the clearance. Gets the pass done. Now, here's the hard part. Keeping up with Semple, who seems to have the freshest tires on the racetrack. Designation this time through. Lap 40 begins. Semple first led laps of the night. Payne led 23 straight. Anderson started this race with 14. Remember, they're going to have to think about the green flag stop in that final stage when they beat 55. But right now the main thing is on the mind. It's Semple. Will anyone have a chance at Semple over the next 5+ laps here? Have a chance in the battle. Also, keep a shout out. The top 9 are all close together. Lee Campbell has the last stage point currently in 10th. That's right now, right exactly where these drivers are battling. You see some of the drivers like Bell's still picking up. Bell's actually picked up 5 spots the last check-in for him. Designation is confirmed on the radio, but Campbell's going to have a lot to deal with here. Right now it's the lead car of this group. DiMaggio is right on behind, trying to look different lines. Here's some side-by-side for the race lead. It's Thompson to the inside. Trying it low. Semple works up. Look at Payne get a push now from Mitchell in the battle for third also. Reset for the 76. Regroup for the 81 with a huge head of steam all of a sudden. Holmes had also dropped back nearly a half a second. He's picked up all the ground from all this heating up. Mitchell gets himself tight. Bowman might also join in. Yes, he will. Bowman's going for passes also as he follows the draft of the 00. Look at the chaos build here as Thompson gets loose. There goes his chance at Semple. 3 to go coming up in the stage 2, and Holmes is going after it. Brad Holmes trying to clear on the inside. Thompson dealing with the hot right rear tire. Slide up to the grooves. Nothing doing for the inside. Outside again prevails. Pull away now by 4/10. Behind them, Bowman and Mitchell are side drafting each other hard in the battle for 5th spot. Bowman at the very least seems to have the pace, but not the line yet. Mitchell again wrapping the top, clears on by, coming off the corner as everyone tries to close the draft. The draft went down half a tenth down the straightaway. Cornering going to be so critical though to set up for the back. Less than 2 laps to go now in stage number 2. As Cyber Thunder continues to roar here from the Irish Hills of Michigan. Semple's got an easy enough gap to try and maintain so long as there's no slides out of the corner. They all went to the low side this time. Nobody went up top. Oh, Thompson again is loose though. Thompson doesn't seem to have the car to rotate through the seams. And that's immediately sent Holmes up for second. 1 to go, stage 2. Some of the drivers going to have to think, what can they do to try to adapt their driving style from here? For Holmes, he'll try to adapt the battle for second. Near contact, Thompson couldn't get the run he needed fully yet. Might have it though into the corner. Oh, technical issues for the double zeros. Spooks Thompson up a little higher than he wants to be. Now he's loose again. Thompson loses momentum as Semple wins stage 2. It's Holmes behind him as well. Semple, Holmes, Thompson, Payne, Mitchell, Bowman, Eric Anderson in the top 7 with Caldwell, Andrew Popejoy, Campbell all getting top 10s. What a finish to the stage right then and there as in the end Semple able to build up the gap as they battled hard for second spot once again and come away with a green-white checkered flag to help his statistics. Of note with all of that, Carter Lawson got up to 19th on the top off previous. Logan Spencer 14th, highest on repairs. Mike Stuyvesant covered a 15th. As you can see, everybody's going to now gather up for the pit stop sequence. Should see 4 tires again. Remember, pit stops should be about the midway point of the stage as we get all set to go. To start off stage number 3, we'll be racing to the end from here on out, here from MIS. By the way, for those watching along on other platforms, TikTok hearing has a buzz tonight. Hope you're enjoying on that platform here this evening. For those on the interwebs, hearing there are a lot of people watching along as you'll have the chance to see the action here once again. Let's go indeed, as some would say. But we're about to see the pit stops. By the way, for those who want to join in on TikTok on social media, our TikTok account is at Go Precision, like the YouTube page. You'll be able to follow along with clips, but also follow along with a lot when it comes to our socials. Here's pit stop time for Semple. Can he make sure there's no mistakes on the entry? Look at Holmes trying to already close up a little bit with speed difference. Race off pit road is done. Semple got the best jump out of anybody. Holmes, Rick Thompson, Greg Mitchell, Gary Bowman in the top 5. Ping, Caldwell, Eric Anderson, Lee Campbell, Chris Rose got himself inside the top 10 here on this one. But more coverage is coming up. The Motor City Madness 180 continues after this.
You are watching Precision Entertainment. Let's take a quick break from the action of the Cyber Thunder Rush Championship Series, presented by me, AI Chief. Now driver, While the field gets sorted out and someone out there is still trying to find reverse, let me ask you a question. Have you ever been in the middle of a race and thought, man, I really wish someone in my headset would tell me what the hell is going on? Maybe you're running out of fuel. Maybe the leader is about to lap you. Maybe you just wrecked half the field and you're pretending it wasn't your fault. Well, driver, that's where I come in. AI Chief, your personal crew chief, race strategist, motivator, and occasionally the only voice of reason between you and the outside wall. With AI Chief you get live race strategy, fuel and pit calls, real-time race updates, savage coaching when you start doing something dumb, and trust me, based on what I've seen out there tonight, some of you really need the help. AI Chief doesn't just tell you when to pit, he tells you when to save fuel, when to push, and when to maybe, just maybe, stop trying to go 3 wide into turn 1. So if you're tired of racing blind and you'd like a crew chief that actually knows what he's doing, head over to AIChiefRacing.com and let Chief get you sorted out. Because the only thing worse than wrecking is wrecking without knowing why. AI Chief, I've got your back. Now let's get back to the action.
Welcome back, everyone, to Michigan International Speedway. Continue on with tonight's coverage here for the Rush Championship Series in what has been an interesting night here in this one. So right now, we're getting set for a 55-lap end of race run. Going to be realistic with 51 as we have had pit stops and pace laps ruled to start the stage. But Semple did choose the outside. He's going to have Holmes to his inside, the upcoming green. See, the cameras keeping busy here tonight. 3 different angles once again for competitors. We'll continue to watch along. A few of the drivers need to close up at the back of the field. I think there's some big gaps on the outside for some reason. But let's take a listen. Green flag ready. Green flag goes. See everyone zipping down the front straightaway with Semple up in front. Trying to play the lines right now, keep it simple. Holmes right now holds on P2 in the early going of this run. But Mitchell, for the first time, is able to get ahead of some of the drivers he was having a hard time clearing on by. Now it's Chevy 1, 2, 3. Take a look at everyone else as they zip on through. Take a look at this huge run for the inside. Big pushes. Holmes loses momentum. Holmes went from up at the front, dropping back. Part of that was with a scrape up the wall. Holmes now continuing to try and figure out a way to get back into the rhythm. Let's take a look at what happened here that sparked all of that. That wiggle right there just got loose on cold tires. Nearly got to the wall, held onto it. So with that in mind, everybody else looking to stay stable, and Eric Anderson at the very least has a battle on his hands too. You see him with Lee Campbell. That's right now in the battle what's going to be for 8th position. Some of your highest running Fords, if you will, outside of Rick Thompson as Anderson's struggle continues. He's in the marbles. Right now, all the dancing continues down the straightaway, though. We have trouble at back straightaway. Dufton hit the wall. Dufton scraped in middle of the straightaway. And here we got turn in front of Dakota Wilkins. We stay green. Dufton, though, is struggling after the hit. See that 47 trying to get to work as we take a look at your replay brought to you by AI Chief. See, Dufton thinks he's got to run, has an opportunity to clear, might get spotter clear here, but hesitated, then still clipped the front nose anyway, slapped to the wall, checks up the pack. See right here, I don't even know if he closed it out himself or just had a hesitation and then didn't move back out. That caused the contact, and now up in front, look who's second. It's Mitchell, your points leader, ready to do it again. Cut to the inside of the diamond line, really backed up the corner. Ping trying to hold on to the battle for third as well. Caution flag is out. Yellow flag on the racetrack. We're back under yellow all of a sudden, as this is the reason. This is the 11. Brandon Thompson said he was involved. Believe he might get fault if he gets to review though, because watch for this run off the 2. He's trying to pass by Corey Sherman. He's had a rough time in the start of this stage, but Thompson drives himself into the wall and then comes down the racetrack. Here's a look from Rosell. It's clear cut. Bam, down, slam. Corey Sherman taken for a ride for some significant damage to the right side of the front end from that. Sherman, mind you, was already loose in the first place. This definitely doesn't help his circumstances. Just take a listen to the ride. Interesting little thing you may have caught there. I believe he either went to the clutch or turned off the motor to prevent damage to the motor block because he knew it was going to slide to the inside. That is a sim racing thing you can do, and I think had the awareness to at least try to limit any potential damages in his circumstance, have a chance for later. But we have split strategy. We ran about 9 laps, including the pace laps on these set of tires. Semple, Mitchell, Holmes amongst those who stay out. Of note, the newcomer Justin Vason just made contact with one of the others coming into pit road, as the others are all taking, for the most part, 4 tires outside of James Defoe, who saved a set and added some fuel to the tank. So again, pace along, coming to 43 laps to go. Might be a good opportunity, if we can, to speak with one of the competitors. You see James Kinder. He's now one of your biggest movers. In fact, he is the biggest mover so far. See if we can talk with your race leader, Matthew Semple. Matthew Semple, this is Justin Prince up in the broadcast booth. Do you have a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
How are you feeling about the hot rod so far tonight? You had a good amount of pace in stage 2.
Yeah, this hot rod is firing on all cylinders here. We got a new paint scheme this week, courtesy of oh, I forget the name of it, but Paxton Frith painted it. Retribution Designs, that's what it is. So this number 16 Alto Chevy is looking real good here. I'm not sure on the strategy with 11th on back taking tires, so we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, this Alto Chevy is looking fast.
So what's your approach now? You mentioned the difference with strategy is going to be a factor here. How do you try and plan things out now, especially knowing you do have to make that stop at some point in the stage for fuel?
Yeah, so we definitely have to make a stop. The guys who did pit right now, they still have to make a stop. So we'll see what the new tires do, and see how they kind of even out with us, the top 10 that stayed out. So we'll see where it goes, but my main focus is on when that 55 Greg Mitchell's coming in, and plan to go a lap or two later than him.
Letting out the secrets, if you will. Once you get back to your team.
Thank you.
Matthew Semple making it clear what the strategy at the very least may be. So we'll send it back over to his channel. So we'll find out how this goes. As he said, Greg Mitchell is in second. And in this series, he's almost like the boogeyman. Sometime, some way, the boogeyman will come out and try and give you a scare. In this case, the 55 is ready to show. Didn't have the best qualifying pace, but definitely has solid race pace. At a racetrack that's a little bit more, shall you say, ebb and flowy with the draft runs. You need to time up. 42 to go at the stripe as we get ready for the restart. About an hour into the racing action so far tonight. Semple on the gas. Mitchell timed it perfect. Look at that, the 55 is going for the lead immediately. Oh, they're door baiting. Semple trying to turn down. Mitchell didn't let him at first. Second bit of contact between these two tonight already. Semple at least gets the clearance down to the back straight away, but a little side draft attempt pulls him back. Look at Mitchell to the inside still. Contact behind nearly. Mitchell trying to slide up, trying to figure out a way to go. Right now the side-by-side builds up still with Anderson. All of a sudden back to fourth, by the way. But that's in part because Eric Anderson stayed out here. Challenges on to try and hope for the right window on strategy. You know who also stayed out? Crank Bell, who was involved in the first incidents of the race. The 14 all of a sudden is up here. Iced up on A100 tires is Rick Thompson, by the way, to start. He's still your biggest mover as we go. Leader's pace starting around 41.5s the last time by, so the times are actually a bit slower at first right now. Now they're picking up now to 39 2s and 3s. 3/10s off the fastest laps. Thompson is a 10th quicker, but look at the corner speed difference. It's enough to make some dives to the inside pretty easy. Right now, the tough thing is going to be for some of these drivers. Where are they going to plot out with some of the errors? Remember, the errors can try and set things up for a comeback later. But remember, here's the thing that may be a factor as you see Chris Rose try and tough it out with Thompson and company. So many times the race at Michigan is won and lost by that exact lap you come on in minus 1 or 2 laps. This racetrack's so important on the undercut and overcut. If you try and go the full distance of the fuel run, it gets a lot more riskier in theory for a lot of those drivers to try and come back because you might not have enough time to come back with the fall for 21+ seconds. Race lead is side by side. It's 3 wide on screen also. Holmes is to the inside of Semple, all while the others fan out behind. Holmes looking for the hunt. Mitchell also joining, still back in the conversation. No place for him to go. Remember, the two right up the front all working together here. Looking at some of these side by side on where Holmes is going to go. He nearly ran to the back end of his teammate. A little bit dicey as look who's here. It's Rick Thompson time. He's right behind these two Chevys on screen. Thompson's pace, half a second quicker last time by. Oh, and loose. Holmes got it at Thompson. They crash on the back straightaway. A slam into the wall. The top two drivers slam down the back as Thompson gets demolished. We're under caution. heavy hits for Brian Dorsey. And a lot of the competitors will have to think on strategy from here with 36 to go. It's close on fuel. It all boils over from side by side for second. Thompson was on the inside. Holmes was trying to make the run to stay up in second. But it all comes down to right there. Holmes getting loose. They hook. They slam. They slam hard and destroy each other. Greg Mitchell and all this had a very good viewpoint. Take a listen. Just missed it. But Thompson, who had a very good chance with the strategy to win this race, he is destroyed. Dorsey too, obviously. Both have already made the way to pit road. Gary Bowman, part of the field. What did he see? Oh man, and he actually did pick some contact up as well in the front nose. Pit window is open. Seppel just came down to live action. We'll talk about that more in a moment, but here's again one more look. Holmes with that step out. Going to definitely be on the apology board here this evening as this collects multiple drivers and brings a lot of people down to pit road. Dustin Payne now leads. The only driver who stayed out, who didn't pit either time, was Phil Van Vliet. Every other car that stayed out the last caution outside of that 89 came in this time. By the time we get going, it'll be about 33 to go. It's going to get, I don't know if that's going to be good enough for the window though, as Rick is just done. Working with Sherman and Van Vliet tonight. At least there to support the teammates, as I think, at the very least, trying to see what the tape shows. So, good opportunity, if you will. Get a chance to maybe talk with one of the competitors here tonight. See what the strategy play may be for some. Payne, he's in his own channel, but may lose the channel on the pole. So, gonna do this. The first driver who it was Seppel. The next would be Mitchell. Let's talk with Mitchell, if you will. So, points leader Greg Mitchell now joins the broadcast booth. Real quickly here, Greg, coming up for the restart, you just pit. How are things looking on fuel? Coming to 33 to go when you take the green.
Yeah, we're about 4 or 5 short. We were just calculating all that, so it'd be really, really hard to make it on one, but we're gonna try and see how this goes. It just depends. If we get one more caution, it'll make it pretty interesting.
How do you describe your progression on speed tonight? Because you didn't get the best qualifying spot. You've been up at the front row for a few weeks in a row, by the way, before tonight. How do you describe that as you picked up pace as the race has gone on?
Yeah, I mean, I feel fine. I mean, we're all pretty even on speed, so it's just kind of managing tires a little bit and trying to be able to stick it when you're underneath or on top of them. It's really hard. The car wants to get loose, especially when you're on the bottom, so makes it tough. Need a little help. I've been to get some teammates too, so that's even made it a little more tough, but you know, it's fun. This track's a really good time to race.
Let's get back to your team. Good luck.
Thank you.
Greg Mitchell joining us real quickly here in the broadcast booth, coming to 33 to go. You heard the number. It's under 30 on the fuel tank, meaning if we get our caution flag, everyone else in theory will be coming down to make sure they get to the end. But for a lot of the air drivers, it's now going to be a lottery on when they pull the pin. Do you go with 15? Do you go with 20? Do you go with 10? Do you risk trying to save? Let's find out. Getting ready to go, so slamming to the back of the field as the front of it takes the green. Down the back straightaway we go. Right now, DiMaggio in second off the jump. Caldwell dropping back. A few drivers scattered on the apron. That was James Kinder. That was way low because of contact with a fall. Carter Lawson, he's now joined the fray again. Likes to be on different fuel strat. Likes to go for it. He's immediately attacking for the top spots, trying to clear for third. Everybody else trying to fan on out here as we find out what these drivers up front plan to do. Remember, their lap threshold for when they have to pit is about 10 to go at the latest. Lawson's now your biggest mover now that we don't have Rick Thompson in the field. Holmes amongst those who DNF'd along with Dorsey from the incident. Semple for his case. After the pit stop, still the first out of those who pit, as Mitchell right on behind. See him look at how well he can charge. A little bit too good. Mitchell just passed him on the inside. Still 3 wide, near contact. Bowman had to back out of the gas, and Mitchell seen a door, took it, and he's now the net leader of the strategy. Take a look at this replay, brought to you by AI Chief. Semple thinks, I'm gonna go slide job. Mitchell says, oh, did it work for you? I'm just gonna pass you on the low side. Thank you for the free real estate. 4 wide pass. And Mitchell is not afraid to use up a little bit of tire to go for it here. Not saving seems to be the plan with the big distance on fuel. And in live action, he's already gotten himself to 8. Keeping an eye with less than 30 to go, where some of the other Lonnie and Planning is now going to go for this. See Chris Rose, for example. Tried different strategies earlier. Now he's on the new tire strat. He's boxed in behind the hole. Choo-choo. Caution. Big one here. We're back under yellow, and that's going to involve the 7, Casey Tomlinson. Rick Thompson, who's still in the race, got involved again. Gained 4th, not happy on the radio. Race control giving a bunch of aggressiveness warnings for the radio comments. As the 7 definitely got into 3 different cars, got loose, hit Popejoy. We'll see this in full play. Popejoy was holding his line. 7 already loose, gets loose, leans down to the bottom, moves up in the lane for Thompson. That gets him turned, that gets gain force collected, and that destroys the 7. Second incident for the 15 here tonight. You see a lot of pushing and shoving as a result there, and a heavy hit to the tire for the 7. Tomlinson has already indicated they're done for the day. Gain force already down pit road. Big yellow flag. This could very likely get people to the end on fuel. May have a save situation, may not. Based on Mitchell's numbers, we would be at it with this stop. Rick Thompson will at least try to get the wave, it looks like here. But as we expect, everyone else is in, and the tire gambles do not work for a lot of drivers here. Just like that. We'll find out who comes out first. Will we see a two-tire stop? You just see Dakota Wilkins for some reason stay out. He can't make it to the end from here. And we do have a bit of mixture. Greg Mitchell taking 2. Bell takes 2 as well. A fuel only for Steven Music. 2 tires for Chris Rose, but he only got the 15th. So the 78 of Wilkins is your race leader. Mitchell, Bell, DiMaggio, Payne. A lot of questions coming up here. Good opportunity to see if we can chat with the driver just stayed out. Dakota Wilkins is on the radio. Do you have a copy? Try this again. Dakota Wilkins, do you have a copy? Try this again. Believe he is muted here. Dakota, one more time. Do you have a copy? And that is a no. So, I was curious on the call, and we do not get the call. Information reasoning. You know what can help you with some calls? AI Chief. After all, box now. You get some fuel, some tires, and some trash talk included with it. AI Chief Racing is your virtual crew chief, making pit calls, strategy plans, and roast you all the way to the checkered flag. For more information, go to AIChiefRacing.com. Coming up to 25 laps to go, as we've seen every car except for the 78 of Wilkins elected to come down and make sure they were good to go on fuel. If we do have overtime in any case, it might be a little bit dicey, but at the least, we're going to see how 2 tires now works, because we only ran 5 laps for some of the cases of those who took tires. But one of our quickest races of the season so far for those who tuned in so far here tonight. Race nearly at 1 hour and 15 minutes complete. If we do somehow become a caution fiesta, drivers still have more than 1.5 hours to play with. Wilkins, Mitchell, Bell, DiMaggio, Payne, Campbell are now how things are in the top 6. Lawson is up there with Caldwell, Stuyvesant and Dufton also. Let's find out how this gamble works. Wilkins ready to control the field in the MT Pocket Customs car. Green flag is out. He's got a little wheel spin. Having issues with the gears. Got a little bit earlier on the shift. And that's stacking up the inside. Looking to the outside, it's Mitchell going immediately for the race lead. It only took about 5-10 seconds. Mitchell nearly spins it, but still gets the lead. Bell now looking to jump to his highest point, to second for the long shot machine. Oh, and he's loose. Bell swatting flies with the corner. Able to hold on to it as Payne gets boxed in, the first driver on 4 tires. Some of the others trying to find their way through. You see such a sampling company. It's still side by side for 3rd. Wilkins just does not have the speed to go. Nearly got it into DiMaggio. Man. Frank gets the zip on the outside. Able to go on through. Has a lot of scattering for some of the others, as we had a bit of a wall hit for Chris Rose. Rose got squeezed 3 wide, trying to get to the outside of Stuyvesant. We have trouble front straightaway. Cars are in the grass. It's Matthew Simple that's caught in the infield. Had issues with Lee Campbell. No caution. We stay green. Your car that controlled stage 2 having issues. Let's take a look at some of these replays here with the AI Chief Instant Replay. See Bell really working the wheel, but right there's the contact. Sends Semple straight into the infield. Was it a case of Campbell getting loose or Semple coming up? Answer is coming up. Although Campbell didn't blend fully to the wall, there was a lot more coming up than it was moving down in that circumstance. Semple immediately is trying to pick up spots again. He's down in the 20s. Reference Campbell just shuffled down to 11. Race lead is on. Payne's going after it. Payne looking to get the spot back up in front. He's been a contender all evening. Recharged hard in the opening stage. Now, what's going to happen this time? Mitchell has the preferred line. Payne's got the better left side tires. Look at the cut up. Payne up the track. Mitchell trying to get the run as a result. Mitchell does get the job done on the outside line. Going to make the move and take over the spot as DiMaggio rides on by in the third spot in the Jeff Gordon Payne. Under 20 laps to go from Michigan. Still plenty that can happen here with everyone good on the fuel, but the main thing's going to be, well, the tires last on the 55. There's a wiggle. Got loose. Here comes Payne. Payne can side draft. Lap traffic ahead. That's Rick Thompson. Payne going to have to put a slider on as Thompson tries to hold his line. He's well ahead of the battle. All while Payne clears easily for the race lead. It's the 81 in front. 19 laps to go. They've now officially caught up to Rick Thompson. Nick of time for Payne to try and get the clearance. Mitchell's left sides are starting to fade away. As Thompson outside. Leaders now catch up to 76. Thompson just said he stayed high with the heavy damage still in his race car. Bell still holding well as well, by the way, proving to get the qualifying down, might have some good race pace. Wilkins, for his sake, down in 8th, still needs a caution to have any chance here, because that car's going to be a couple laps short on the fuel tank. Maggio, by the way, now you see him in second spot with all that. He's kept to the inside as we were looking at some of the aero groupings. Zipped off by in 1 and 2, and Mitchell is starting to slip back. Best race for Frank this season so far. You can argue, at least those here on the network. For DiMaggio, it's been a challenge. Seems like he's had speed, but usually has been not towards the front. Some races has put up qualifying runs, others he's been battling for top 10s on recovery drives a few times over. Tonight, he's just had good speed, as Ron Anderson going for 9. Here goes the 5. Once those moving, as you see, dumped in. Recovery, Rattler Caldwell. Caldwell just a few car lanes up the road. Once the merriest Canadians makes to the top of the field. Lawson still not able to find a way around the 14. Look at Dufton. He is in this mix, by the way. Seen that car at first. Two working well together here. Our Canadians now looking tonight, not going to battle it out per se yet amongst themselves. At least try and get themselves to Lawson or Bell. Keep themselves forward. Decent top 10 cars at the least here tonight. Oh, hold on. Dufton just slammed the wall. So did Caldwell. They both got aero tight, and they both drove themselves in the barrier. Scrapes for the both of them. That causes issues. Stuyvesant looking to the inside of the 47. Looking at some of the errors still with Dufton's contact. He avoided damage. For Stuyvesant's recovery just to get back here for a while. Remember, it took all of stage 2 and most of the stage now just to get about where he was before the incident sparked up with damage earlier for the 20 car. Stuyvesant, for reference, 9th in the point standings coming into tonight. And a Richter who is not here. And for Richter, it's going to be an interesting one. Might be about 12th, if not 13th. Semple, 23rd, by the way. He was zooming by cars initially. He's fallen back, actually. So that car's not running as well as it was earlier with that slide through the grass. But at least get Andrew Popejoy's having some struggles now because of damage. Under 14, coming to 13 laps to go at the flag stand. Caldwell. For Kong, as we look up front, look at Lawson. The Siege double shot machine is up to second, and just like that, Lawson might have a shot here to disrupt the status quo. Hasn't been necessarily a driver we see contend. He's been a driver who's made hard charges, usually uses strategy to get good points finishers. That's why he's in the top 12. But right now, the huge challenge is this. He needs to close 7/10. Never mind, he just slammed the wall, so this might put him up for grabs again. No damage for the 98, but he will lose at least one, if not two spots here. Mitchell does indeed get the upper hand on the outside, but remember, lefts are not doing well for the 55 tonight. Lawson might be one of those with an interesting spot with tire sets too, by the way, if we do go with a caution flag. He is amongst those in the 5 pit stop club here this evening. Get a caution. He, along with maybe Jackie Brennan and a couple others, are going to be in a concern. Steven Music has, in turn, saved a set. We know with a no tire stop at one point. Bell, looking for a top 10, still riding there. Here with Bell that he got loose off of 4. That's why he's in the spot. Can't confirm he crossed the seams. Nearly slammed up the racetrack. Still holds on here. Coming to 10 laps to go. Lawson again loose. Might have burned up his stuff a little bit too much here, trying to have a chance. More than a second lead for Dustin Payne. 10 to go. Payne looking to yard away. He's a little bit quicker. Last time was a 10th quicker than the rest of the field. Outside of maybe Mike Stuyvesant and Andrew Caldwell. Difference is those have draft. Payne's doing it without draft. Look at the modulation of the throttle. The 20 trying to be careful as he pushes up the track. Caldwell using the apron, trying to do something, see if that works. During our moment on the radio for the 14, by the way. We got in Gerard Anderson. Actually went across his fender for a moment. No caution though, obviously. Mitchell zips by, holds on to 3rd. Going to be a decent night for the 55. Looks like he's getting a little bit at the very end. A little contact again for Nick Caldwell. Second time this run, he stepped in the barrier. Here comes Anderson. The 5 is on it. Gerard now trying to work inside. Caldwell outside. Way up the track for the 46. Got the pull off of Stuyvesant to try and clear on by. Will he send it deep in the corner to complete it? He will at least try and keep it high on the racetrack. 5. How does Work the wheel hard. Caldwell zips on by. Here comes Stuyvesant as Caldwell zips along to the 20s door. Less than 7 laps to go from MIS. Here's DiMaggio. You see DiMaggio holding on a decent gap. It's only about a quarter of a second for now, though. Well, that lasts for his best finish in a while. Anderson started to fade back a little bit, but still trying to charge at least the bottom. Looking on his onboard. Just nothing to draft off of right now. It doesn't have the suction he needs off some of these cars. Still nothing doing. Stuyvesant works. Lead continues to check out now, almost 1.3 seconds up, just about. Looks like for Anderson, the efforts are now all mute. All the efforts at the bottom go for naught. DiMaggio's not done yet, though. Mitchell's building up a run up the road in the 55. You see that right there. DiMaggio blocking, goes up high, went low initially, now up high again, trying to hug the top. Gonna require a massive slider possibly to get this done with under 5 laps to go. Lead out of hand if it stays green. Lawson, one of his best runs. He's got a top 5 in a decent spot here with the cushion. Will he try and pick up the pieces? Mitchell, at the very least, we'll see a dive to the inside, no. Under 4 laps to go. I was curious on the case for the 78. Wilkins is still stretching it, by the way. He's down to under 3 laps this time by to go. He's already 31 plus laps on his stint. Chances are toast, obviously for him, as he's falling down to 16. DiMaggio still holds on. 3 to go at the stripe. Right now, the 55 looking to build something, anything up here. It's getting more and more difficult late. Right now, Mitchell seems to be in a spot where the points is what take him at this rate. Not in a spot to be able to pounce to get a long by yet. Looks like Lawson, though, going to have to fight it out. You see there, near we hit the wall, did. Trying to battle with Caldwell for the top 5 spots. 2 laps to go. Wilkins did pit. His chances are done. Wilkins topped off for fuel. All of a sudden, Payne's lead starting to go down. It went down by half a second that time through. But is that enough of a concern here? Payne did get tight off of 4. Now has dirty air to deal with. Wilkins trying to hold on with the shredding tires. White flag coming up at the flag stand. Final time around for Michigan. 6/10 the lead. Payne looking and trying to secure the victory from the Irish Hills. Only tonight, had the speed. Slipped back in stage 2. Stage 3, rallied back with the right strategy, especially with the caution roulette. Now, it's just half a track away from victory. To the checker flag. Payne likes to be like Biff. In honor of Greg Biffle, it's Dustin Payne who takes the 81 to victory lane tonight at Michigan. Payne gets it done with 52 laps led on the evening. Maggio, Mitchell, Caldwell, and Lawson all get top 5s tonight. Stuyvesant and Ron Anderson with Lee Campbell and Gary Bowman with Eric Anderson amongst your top 10 at the end. So a drive, to say the very least, that one could be happy about. For Payne, at speed throughout the night, comes away and roars to victory. Big burnout for a big-time win tonight. Payne celebrates it all for victory lane. Straight to the victory lane, which is wide open now. Walkout, a celebration for Dustin Payne tonight. He comes out on top here at Michigan. Let's take a break. Post-race coverage after this. You're watching Precision Entertainment.
You are watching Precision Entertainment. Let's take a quick break from the action of the Cyber Thunder Rush Championship Series, presented by me, AI Chief. Now, driver, while the field gets sorted out and someone out there is still trying to find reverse, let me ask you a question. Have you ever been in the middle of a race and thought, man, I really wish someone in my headset would tell me what the hell is going on? Maybe you're running out of fuel. Maybe the leader is about to lap you. Maybe you just wrecked half the field and you're pretending it wasn't your fault. Well, driver, that's where I come in. AI Chief, your personal crew chief, race strategist, motivator, and occasionally the only voice of reason between you and the outside wall. With AI Chief, you get live race strategy, fuel and pit calls, real-time race updates, savage coaching when you start doing something dumb, and trust me, based on what I've seen out there tonight, some of you really need the help. AI Chief doesn't just tell you when to pit, he tells you when to save fuel, when to push, and when to maybe, just maybe, stop trying to go 3 wide into turn 1. So if you're tired of racing blind and you'd like a crew chief that actually knows what he's doing, head over to AIChiefRacing.com and let Chief get you sorted out. Because the only thing worse than wrecking is wrecking without knowing why. AI Chief, I've got your back. Now let's get back to the action.
Welcome back, everyone, to tonight's coverage of the Rush Championship Series. It's the Motor City Madness 180 sees Dustin Payne take the win over Frank DiMaggio, Mitchell, Caldwell, lost in the top 5, Stuyvesant, Anderson, Caldwell, Bowman, Anderson. Amongst your top 10 here this evening, Nathan Dufton, followed by Crank Bell, Chris Rose with Matthew Semple, Jackie Brennan, the top 15. Also throw in the mix there, James Rosell, who quietly got to 16. Bill Van Vliet, Larry Bell, James Affon, Stephen Music, once your top 20 here tonight. Throw it back even further. The lead lappers go to 26. Thompson, Andrew Popejoy, Kinder, Sherman, then Mason, followed by Dakota Wilkins on the lead lap. Logan Spencer and Rick Thompson finished 2 down, gained 4th amongst the drivers, 5 down. Casey Tomlinson punts the DNFs here this evening, with Holmes, Dorsey, Frith, and Nicholas Popejoy also done early. Opportunity to go 3-2-1 tonight. We spoke with Greg Mitchell earlier. We speak with him now. Greg, first things first, talk things through on that run to the end with the caution roulette, having a battle with the different tire sets straddled too.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what to do there because I really wanted 4, but I knew I'd be 8th to 10th probably. And with what do we have, 25 or so laps to go, figured it was going to be tough. Some of the guys in here to get up there, so took a chance on 2. I was hoping some others did. I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 did. I wasn't sure, but I knew Dustin was 5th on 4, and Frank said he was on 4. I thought he was on 2. But yeah, it was worth the gamble just to get the clean air, and just couldn't hold off Dustin and Frank there at the end.
And what is it about Michigan that provides the challenges it does to get some of these passes done, and where it became so aero dependent by the time we got the tires weared in?
You just can't get away. I mean, Dustin was able to break away a little bit on fresh tires, but once they start to break in, you just can't get away. So it makes it fun and frustrating at the same time. There's just so much straightaway here, and there's not a lot of off throttle. So I think that's probably the biggest factor actually, is just you maybe crack the throttle completely after 15 laps or so just to get it to turn, but it's not very long. So it's very, very draft dependent, and it's yeah, like I said, it does make it fun. It's just you got to play the field, getting the position on the track versus as best you can, and it's best to do it in the pits if you can, so to try to drive up there and burn your tires off.
So with that in mind here, of course, this obviously helps out your point situation, to say the very least. First things first. Second, how do you feel about going road course racing? Laguna Seca, though, is an interesting one.
I have never been there in this car, so that's going to be interesting. I do enjoy road courses, so I always look forward to them. But yeah, these cars are light in the rear end as it is, so that corkscrew is probably going to be pretty challenging. We're going to have to be really, really light on the throttle in several corners there, especially there. But yeah, that should be fun. I don't know if these cars have ever run there in real life, so I guess we'll be the guinea pigs on it. But I'm looking forward to it.
Anyone you want to give a shout out to here tonight?
Yeah, thanks to you as always, Justin, for running the broadcast for us. You guys do an awesome job. Love to go back and watch these things. You do a really good job on the coverage. So kudos to you and your team. Thanks to Tom for running an awesome league. Shout out to my family who's always watching us every week. And let's see, thank you to Eric who sponsored tonight, and thank you to AI Chief for sponsoring the series this season.
Congratulations on the run, Greg.
Thanks, Justin.
Greg Mitchell coming away with 3rd place here tonight. Then it's Frank DiMaggio that gets himself up to 2nd spot here tonight. Frank, you've had to work hard to make passes multiple times this season. Tonight, you qualified up front. You kept it relatively up front. What was different about tonight compared to the others where it seemed like you had to battle a lot?
We had a loose setup tonight rather than plowing, so that was different compared to normal. And I don't know if it suits my driving style a little bit more, but I don't know. I like taking care of the right rear instead of the right front.
So, of course, you get yourself in the 4 tires. Pardon me, just choked up a little bit in my throat. Was about to say, got the 4 tire strategy in terms of the game plan that you executed here at the end of this one. How would you describe that fight to try and keep up with Ping, though, at the end?
I felt like we had a couple cars start in front of us on that final restart, and whoever got to the lead first was probably going to win the race. So I think I was in front of him, and then he got me, and he pulled away a little bit. I might have saved a little too much. We reeled him in a little bit at the end there, but Dustin was so fast on fresh tires, it was tough to keep up for me. And we're just trying to keep the tires on it and come away with a decent run, and we were able to do that.
How do you feel about road course racing next week?
is PG-13 stream, right? So we're probably going to skip next week, and we'll be at Indianapolis in 2 weeks.
So that leads to an interesting point here. How do you feel about how that factors into potential points categories, especially with you needing to catch up in the wild card?
I'm going to miss a few races in the summertime. I got some baseball tickets to go see the Tigers, season tickets, so we're going to miss a few races here and there, but we're just here having fun. We're just trying to battle and keep it clean, and whatever happens with the points, I'm not too worried about it.
Any shout you'd like to give here tonight?
I want to say thanks to Eric Anderson for sponsoring the race, the Shermans for AI Chief sponsoring the entire season, so that's pretty cool. My buddies Crank and Gary that were chatting with me and strategizing with me. It's always fun with them. And I want to thank you guys for putting on the broadcast and finally finished decent enough to go back and watch one.
Congratulations on the top 3 here tonight, Frank.
Thank you.
Frank DiMaggio gets himself a top 3 here this evening. Then in first, Dustin Payne is the one who comes up on top. Dustin, get a win here tonight. How are you feeling about this one?
Pretty good. It's been a while since I got a win. It's been about a year and a half, so yeah, it's definitely a change for getting a win here.
In your opinion, what clicked to make things work tonight? Because you had speed in stage 1, you had especially the speed in stage 3. What worked compared to the other races where you've been close in a lot of different series, multiple other ones?
Basically, just like for me, I'm pretty good here at Michigan for some reason. I know about every line you can run, but mainly it was just saving the right front and right rear, and I think some people were just overdriving, so that's the main thing about it. Here, you just gotta not drive off the right rear or the right front, which is difficult.
And of course, getting the job done with, believe that's your own business on the hood, correct?
No, it's a family business.
Family business getting a job done here tonight. So that in mind, next time out, going to be on a road course with you, likely going to be amongst the top 5 of the point standings here tonight. Where do you see yourself stand in terms of going left and right at a track that's not normally designed for this car?
Honestly, I've never really been on Laguna with a big car like this, so it'd be interesting. I'm pretty good on road courses, but the corkscrew is going to be an interesting thing with 20 plus cars next week, so we'll see.
Any shows you'd like to give here tonight?
Yeah, I want to thank Tom for putting this on, the sponsors, and thank you guys for putting the stream on.
Good luck, and we'll see how you manage the corkscrew next week.
All right, thank you.
Dustin Payne gets the job done here tonight. Like thank the entire top 3 speakers during post-race coverage here on Precision Entertainment. As you can see, it is WeatherTech Raceway. We're going to say that's next week. That will be on Tuesday, May the 19th. 8 p.m. start once again here on Precision. It should be an interesting one for that one. Your race sponsor for that, Paxton Frith. But on that note, it's just about to say goodbye for tonight's coverage. I'd like to thank a lot of people here for this evening. First of all, I'd like to thank Ryan Bauer, our producer, for being here, as well as you, the fans, for watching along for tonight's coverage. Again, using cameras Ryan Bauer has, provided by Whiplash Sim Cams. Once again, thanks as well to your race sponsor, Eric Anderson, who is the reason the race was called the Motor City Madness 180 tonight. But it's just about time to say goodbye as a whole. For everyone here tonight, I'm Justin Prince saying so long. Enjoy the rest of your evening. You've been watching tonight's coverage of the Rush Championship Series presented by AI Chief, where Dustin Payne breaks up a winless drought in multiple different series by getting one at Michigan. We'll see you next time from California.